The three hardest countries in the world to invade. There are two of them who dare not fight. There's another one that nobody can hit. So who are these three kingdoms? The first country is Afghanistan. This country is in existence that no one dares to fight. Today, because Afghanistan has a very big name, it's called the Imperial Cemetery. This name has been confirmed many times. It also marks the end of the invasion of this country. Let Afghanistan become the world's a country that no one dares to fight on the Imperial Cemetery. It has the names of three superpowers written on it. One is from the UK, one was the Soviet Union. One is the United States. The first one paid a huge price in the Imperial Cemetery today, has lived up to its former glory. The second one went out. The country doesn't even exist anymore. The third is mired in war. Invest $2 trillion in sky-high military spending particles, and then they leave. In history, Afghanistan crucian carp that has been subject to foreign invaders many times. One of the most important reasons, that's the geography of Afghanistan. The strategic significance is simply too great. It connects with East Asia. South Asia, a crossroads in West and Central Asia. Of course, it will be missed by others. The first to do it was the UK in 1839. The British went to war. A force of 21,000 was mobilized to attack Afghanistan with state-of-the-art muskets and artillery is to take down this Central Asian crossroads. At first things went very well. The British Army only took 2 short months. They took all of Afghanistan. The British were flexing their muscles, attack Afghanistan as an enemy, feel like this is just their way to conquer another victory not worth mentioning. However, over time the British gradually realized that something was wrong. Although Afghanistan fell, but the Afghans did not surrender. Afghans with machetes and camels. Tough guy. British musket every day depends on the treacherous terrain of Afghanistan. Launch a surprise attack on British troops, kill a few people, grab a few things and run away. Never give the other party a chance to encircle and suppress. In 1841, the situation in Afghanistan was completely out of control. The British Army ended up with only 1 medic left. She survived. Later, and 2 more wars in Britain and Afghanistan. More and more British troops are dispatched each time. The results are all similar. Shark returns. A second Soviet attack ended even worse. Send troops to invade Afghanistan. This time the whole of Afghanistan fell in just 10 days. However, they are also mired in a security war of 10,000 Soviet soldiers because it takes too long. The security war is too dangerous. That leads to war weariness, exploited by Afghans to become addicted to drugs. Hand over your weapons and ammunition for nothing. In 1989, with the withdrawal of the Soviet Union, the end of the 9-year war in Afghanistan, 2 years later, the Soviet Union came to its own end, ceases to exist. The last one to do it was the United States. In fact, the price to pay is tragic. The United States is no lower than the United Kingdom and the Soviet Union. 20 years of war in Afghanistan, US cumulative a whopping $2 trillion in military spending. However, this astronomical figure into the quagmire, known as the Afghan Security Station, but can't accumulate a single wave. Later, the US military can only withdraw from Afghanistan in dismay. A large amount of weapons and ammunition was also left behind from the above. About the Imperial Cemetery, we can also see, why is this country rated as one that no one dares to invade? 3 powerful countries have waded through the muddy waters, the 3 most difficult countries in the world to invade. Today, there are 2 in Asia. Europe has 1. The next country is Mongolia. The existence that claims that no one dares to fight. Although Mongolia's military might is not strong internationally, it can only be described as mediocre. If you want to talk about comprehensive national strength, there's nothing to see in Mongolia either. The population of the country is around 3 million. Land area, 1.56 million square kilometers, although it is the second largest landlocked country in the world. However, regardless of population density or domestic development, they are all relatively low. Now it's the mining industry that's powering Mongolia's economy. However, because of the mining, Mongolia's traditional practice of mother release is already facing a huge threat: domestic dust storms. Many places are deserted, and because the former Soviet Union-controlled development industry is also struggling, it can also be seen from the above. Mongolia's strength is actually not strong. Why Mongolia? It is called a country that no one dares to fight. What is the country's ability to settle down? The answer is Mongolia's geographical Location: Mongolia is a country. It is also rather unique from the map. It has only 2 neighbors and are completely sandwiched between 2 neighboring countries. No other third neighbor. And these 2 neighboring countries are powerful powers. One is our country, the other is Russia. Whether it's our country or Russia are among the top military powers in the world and possess nuclear weapons. Also a permanent member of the United Nations, has a huge influence around the world, has the voice over him. So a lot of countries are turning to machines. I don't dare to have any Crucian carp in Mongolia at all. The reason is also very simple. If you want to take action against Mongolia, you don't even have to think about going by sea. I don't have the conditions to walk at all. Could it be also want our country or Russia to open the door, let the troops of other countries pass through? As for the Air Force long-range strike weapons such as aircraft and missiles, needless to say, to attack with something like this, Mongolia means destined to pass through China and Russia. Over either of the 2 countries, something like this, it has always been regarded as a major military threat. Not to mention our country and Russia, I will not watch Mongolia be invaded, and it's not just an important buffer zone. It is also a strategic fulcrum of strategic significance, bed strategy. Even NATO, led by the United States. I dare not reach out my hand here. Of course, another reason is that Mongolia, there is nothing in itself for other countries to place their hopes on, because its strength is not strong. Even if it is to invade, the price paid is completely disproportionate to the benefit. Let Mongolia be safe. The economy of Mongolia is very simple. Mining and animal husbandry, but both are huge. But the technology is relatively backward, not formed a complete industrial chain that feels threatened. Plus, Mongolia's economic development is also relatively difficult. There's no reason to burn fat. Real jackals, tigers, and leopards will be watching, far from being things like flocks of sheep. The 3 hardest countries in the world to invade today, neither of them dared to fight. No one can hit one. The last third country is Switzerland. Switzerland can't beat anyone. Now this idea is not unfounded, and that includes the mighty United States. I think so too. And of course, the reasons for this are deep and complex. First, an important reason. Of course, the status of Switzerland as a permanent neutral country. Although recently, some actions in Switzerland has aroused many people's doubts about this identity, but it has to be admitted that this title is for him. It does look like a death-free gold medal. The banking industry in Switzerland is highly developed. Many countries will choose to save their money in it, plus its status as a neutral country. Once Switzerland is invaded, it's not just Ray who will be angry. The doctor himself also includes countries that save a lot of money in Switzerland because their interests are also threatened. This is in the diplomatic realm. The pressure is going to be enormous. Almost no one wants to bear it. And of course, if you think that Switzerland is not afraid of invasion, just by virtue of being a permanently neutral country, that would be a big mistake. What many people don't know is that Switzerland looks stable and wealthy. In fact, until now, the national military service system is still maintained. Any adult male must support military service. The military might brought about by this system, it's enormous. Many military scholars have commented that this means that Switzerland continues to expand to 800,000. The ability of a large army. You have to know that the whole population of Switzerland adds up but only over 8 million. The number of military personnel is truly astounding, but it's not over yet. Swiss veterans who retired in 2007 when quitting the army, a complete set of individual equipment it wasn't taken back. This means that when Switzerland was invaded, these veterans could be armed at any moment. Put on military uniform, go into battle. From the streets of cities big and small, except for the policy on military personnel. Switzerland is also obsessed with building a military formula. Mention the Alps. Many people's first reaction is romantic. The scenery is beautiful for the Alps, Switzerland, which accounts for more than 60% of its land area. This is an indispensable military barrier. They are constantly transforming the mountains. Never stop. Enter the broken door embedded in the mountains. You can find another layer of cave. Sky various explosion-proof. Walls, barbed wire is tight, engine held internally, hospital, canteen, dormitory, showers, and more. The passage can be up to 20 kilometers long. This is obviously preparation for war, defensive like this. The bunkers in Switzerland can be said to be everywhere. There are dragon-tooth shooting holes everywhere, like an airtight hedgehog. Switzerland is even under the Alps. They built a lot of underground air bases. A large number of FA-18 fighter jets are stored once a foreign enemy invades. These bumblebees will immediately fly out of the mountain and forest block the enemy. It is said that this bunker in Switzerland, its concrete blast walls are capable of blocking aircraft cannon bombing. In addition to that, households in Switzerland, they have built anti-explosion shelters in a warehouse in the countryside. Suddenly pulled out a cannon with a range of 30 kilometers. It's not that it never happened. As for the city's specifications, that's even higher. What operating room is in the shelter, and other facilities are readily available. There is no shortage of materials at all. It can be seen that in terms of defense against intrusion, Switzerland can be said to be ready for permanent neutrality. And 2 trump cards for the military arrangement. No wonder it has been called the hardest country to invade.